Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. My name's Connor Dibblin, I'm a 4th year medical student at King's College London, and this video is a day in the life. I think like most people, unfortunately the first thing I do when I get up is I do check my phone, and this is a habit that I'm trying to stop, but generally it is good to quickly check if I have any messages that I've received overnight. The next thing I do every morning is I grab my laptop and I go through the day's flashcards. These are the flashcards I make on Notion, and you can check out my last video to see how I make those using the template in the description. It takes me roughly 15 to 20 minutes, sometimes up to half an hour, depending on how many flashcards there are to do that day. I really love doing this first thing in the morning. It means that before I've even got out of bed, I feel like I've done a significant step towards getting my revision done for the day. I then drag myself out of bed to go and sit at my desk and do a bit more serious studying. I'm definitely someone who gets really snacky and hungry while I'm studying, so I get up, make myself some breakfast. Now the night before I'd filmed this video, I had watched a video by Ali Abdaal in which he went through his 2020 review, where he goes through this template and reflects on his year, so I decided to give that a go. I'm really keen to show you guys what I've written, and that's going to be a future video. After that, I managed to make myself go out for a run. Cue epic B-roll. Okay, so maybe most of my run consisted of playing with the squirrels in the park, but they were really cute, I couldn't help myself. Just got back in from my run, and recently I've been listening to a lot of audiobooks while I run. I'm currently listening to a book called The Courage to be Disliked, and I'm enjoying it so far. It took me a bit of time to get used to. The whole style of writing is like two people talking to each other, and in the audiobook, for the first maybe 3 minutes, every time the character who's talking swaps, the person who's reading out the book declares about who's about to speak, which does get a bit frustrating. But listening to it on double time means that after about 90 seconds you're past that, they start doing slightly different voices for the two characters, and it makes a bit more sense. Now, one of the major themes in this book that I've already come across is the idea that all problems that people face are really down to interpersonal problems, and it's something which I think is a big oversimplification. I think there are obviously lots of problems that are not interpersonal problems, namely problems that are not caused by you, but it did get me thinking a little bit about interpersonal problems in general, and kind of going on from that, while I was running I was thinking about networking. Networking is a term which I think has got a lot of hot press, but also a lot of bad press recently. And I think it's worth noting that networking is not just a one-size-fits-all term. Networking does not only refer to that kind of entrepreneurial networking idea. And so I think it's unfair to dismiss it as all bad or to praise it as all good. In reality, every single one of us as an individual has a network. At university, as a medical student, that network can be thought of as who you know and what you know about them, who knows you and what they know about you, and your common goals together. Now, there are actually various types of network that every single one of us has, and each one of those types of network is more or less necessary at different points in our lives, but generally it's good for all of us to have some degree of network in all three of these fields. Now, unfortunately, all three of these fields require different skills to grow and nurture that network. So the first network, and maybe the most obvious, is your social network. And I'm not talking about social media here. I'm talking about the people who you know in a social capacity. At university, that's likely to be your friends, your course mates, your flatmates, and other people that you get along with. I know that at King's College London, up until this year, when sports have been cancelled, there was a big emphasis on sport as being the starting place for you to make these kind of friendships, make these connections. At university, the second type of network that you're likely to want and need is a personal support network. So this is going to be made up of your closest friends who you can call on in a time of need. It's also going to be made up of your family members who you can still contact. It'll be made up of whoever your partner is as well. This network is going to be very close to you, it's going to be people who you can rely on at your time of need, and it's also likely to be people who can rely on you when you're able to help them out. To build this network, this is going to rely on making close friendships, but also you're maintaining your friendships. You can use this network to help you out with either big problems or little problems. And so if you find yourself falling behind in your course, I would really recommend asking friends on your course to help you out with the content, and you'll very likely find that whatever problems it is that you're facing at university, someone either in your cohort or before you will have faced that same problem, and you can talk to them and find out how they got through it, and maybe that can help. The third type of network at university is going to be your academic support network. So this is also a support network, but in this case it's going to be made up of people provided to you by the university. This is probably the easiest one to grow because it's the one that's kind of grown for you. I know that at King's and lots of medical schools, when you turn up at medical school, you are assigned a personal tutor, and that person is going to be in charge of looking after you pastorally. So if there's anything that you are struggling with, like your housing, like friendships, and you want to talk to someone with the university, you can talk to them. Every year at King's, we're also assigned then a clinical supervisor and academic support supervisors, and those people are in charge of our either clinical placements or our academic learning, and it's up to us to contact them if we feel like we're falling behind, and they also need to regularly check on with us and make sure that we're doing the correct things. Some people might find it really daunting, the idea of growing a network at all, and especially so at a point in which you're not actually legally allowed to even meet anyone. The funny thing is, my network has grown exponentially since the start of the lockdowns, and in the last 12 months I have managed to get involved with a huge number of projects, all of which I got involved with through social media. Social media is often given a bad rep. We have the awful things happening in the United States and around the world right now, all of which is fueled by misinformation and these kind of very closed off echo chambers within social media. On the other hand, social media is a very powerful tool, it's a very powerful networking tool, and it does help to connect like-minded individuals. Almost all of the work that I've been involved in the last 12 months, helping students to access support through coronavirus, and with the Becoming a Doctor team, getting a couple of publications, those have all been done by having an active presence on social media through which I share my interests, what I'm currently up to, actively engaging with other people who follow me or who I follow. And that way, people know who I am, people see my name regularly, and they reach out to me as a project they would like me to get involved in. Or they reach out to me and ask if I know of any projects that they could get involved in. The majority of these kind of beneficial relationships that I've developed have been through either Twitter or LinkedIn. I've met some amazing people on Instagram and on YouTube, but so far none of that's really kind of come to fruition. But I'm really hoping that 2021 is going to be a year for that, so stay tuned to find out.